Whoa. Oh. Ah. Oh. Yo, dudes, it's an oak tree. Wow. I can't, look at that. Something bit it right off. Some critter bit it right off. Wow. So, we've discovered like probably almost a dozen extra tiny oak trees like this just in the bush in and around our build site. We have to flag them somehow. Some of them we have to move this fall because they're in the within the margin of error of getting destroyed on the road, the fringes of the road. But like ones like this, we got to come back in the spring. I don't think it's a good idea to clear it out now because these coniferous trees are going to save it from the snow load. But we got to mark these so we don't destroy them by accident in the winter. I don't know if you guys remember, but the hunting from last week, episode 79, where I was hunting at my family cottage, that that kind of opening that I set up the tree stand at, that was called an oak knoll. There's like 7 or 8 big oak trees, and that oak knoll is just covered with acorns. And that's why there's so many deer in there. Like I'll show you some, I put up two trail cameras in that area. Tons of deer, multiple deer there every day eating acorns. It's like a buffet, because acorns, remember, like almonds or cashews or any other, nuts that humans eat, high in protein, fat, and carbohydrates. It's like nature's, I don't want to say crack cocaine, because crack cocaine is bad for you, but they're very addictive in that sense. Oh. So guys, that is the last of our self-milled 1x lumber. I'm very glad, even though it's very moldy. We cleaned it and we killed it with vinegar as much as we could. This is from the red pines that were milled off this, cut off this property.
An alliance once existed between elves and men. Long ago we fought and died together. We come to honor that allegiance.
Well, folks, we hit a deer. Unfortunately, right outside of Sudbury. And I was lucky because right before almost hitting that deer, I almost hit a moose. And moose are oftentimes can be fatal, because what happens with a moose is that you hit it and it's so tall, the body goes right through your windshield. So I had to slam on my brakes to miss the moose. And then literally, I kid you not, maybe 2 minutes, not even 2 minutes later, this deer comes into the road, and it was at night. I literally did not see it until its head and neck was in the beams of my headlight, and then boom, smacked into it. There was a big transport truck right behind me. I'm almost certain the deer was killed as soon as I struck it, because I hit right into its head and its neck, kind of shoulder area, with both sets of wheels. And then the transport truck behind me almost certainly hit it as well. So I'm pretty sure the thing was just TKO'd. Yeah, at least it was a quick death, but yeah, mangled the front of the truck. Not too bad, but does need repairs. So I think they said it's going to take about a week to fix it. So I've got this loaner. They gave me a Ram 1500, which is pretty cool. I've never driven one of these things before. Good boy. To reward the patient Clovis, I got him one of these giant dino bones in town, which is only surprisingly about 15 bucks. But he absolutely loves these things, man. Nope, nope, nope. Clovis, that is a giant bone, buddy. You were hiding in the woods. What were you doing in the woods with that, man? You were chewing on that in the woods. Sometimes you need to chew in privacy. I get it. I get it. I get it. Oh. Good boy. Okay, great. Great. Good boy. Okay, go. Oh, yeah, baby. That's 1.5 pounds. Blade steak. Absolute monster. Oh, man, half this stuff's going in the wind. Buzz. Where are you, buddy? Good boy. Hello. Oh, you sleepy? Are you sleepy? Yeah. Yeah. All right. Hey. Hey, okay. Hey, good boy. Look, it's not bad. It's like 75 degrees in here. Perfect temperature. And the stove, look. We put this on when we got back from town at like 1 o'clock, 1 p.m. That's the power of maple, man. Hardwood, you see it's still kind of burning in there, the embers. The stove is still throwing off heat. It's amazing. Good night, buddy. Good night. Oh yeah, good night. Oh yeah. Okay, man. So that's all the plexiglass we have. We got to get one more small sheet to finish off that part of the back window. But I think she's pretty much done for now. I really want to let this just sit this winter and have all these boards really dry out in the sun and the open air before putting, you know, maybe a rhino lining or a Tyvek lining on top, and then probably put cedar shingles over all this to make it, you know, waterproof. Holy cow. Sweet. Nice. That is a lot of gravel, man. The whole thing looks like it's gravel. I wonder if that could aid us. Oh, he's hungry. It's dinner time. Good boy. Okay. Nice. Arr. That's not bad. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's what we're looking at. That's what we're looking for. Ravens of Odin. Odin blesses our Riverside sauna. Dude, no way. No way. Yo! Clovis is like, Father, where have you been? I'm sleepy. It's time to go to bed. Whoa! Oh yeah! Nice and cozy. Nice and cozy. Oh, hello. Oh, 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 there you go. Oh, the good boy. Oh, you want to go out? You want to go? You want to go? Oh, hello. Okay, we're back from town. Clovis got his old rabies shot. He still needs a bordetella, which is like kennel cough, in about 3 weeks' time. Apparently kennel cough is nasty, dogs can die from it, so. Last week I officially named our drone the HMS Victory, and I have to add 3, I think, extraordinary facts about Admiral Nelson's victory at Trafalgar with his flagship, the HMS Victory, that I was unable to include last week. The first of which is the reason him winning this battle against the French and the Spanish fleets was so important is because it almost certainly stopped Napoleon from invading the British Isles. We all might be speaking French right now if Admiral Nelson did not win on that day, because the Grande Armée under Napoleon was unbeatable on the European continent. He was beating everybody. The Austrians, the Italians, the Russians, the Prussians, everybody. He was completely unstoppable. And this fleet, the combined French and Spanish fleet, was going to the English Channel to take control of it so they could transport Napoleon and the French army over to England. So thank the gods that didn't happen. Otherwise, we all might be parlaying Francais right now. The second crazy fact about the battle is that Admiral Nelson had already been injured severely before this. He lost an eye and an arm. All British officers, naval officers, were expected to never flinch during battle. No matter if there's cannonballs exploding into the deck around you, you were not allowed to duck ever. Now, the regular sailors were, but not the officers, including Nelson. That's why he had so many injuries, and that's why he ultimately was taken out by a sniper in the Battle of Trafalgar. And the third crazy fact is, I didn't really make it clear about how crazy it was, his strategy. Imagine the front of the drone is the front of the HMS Victory, the ship. He had this kind of kamikaze, blitzkrieg flanking maneuver strategy of lining up the British fleet into two lines and coming at the Spanish and the French from the side, which was totally non-typical for the era. And one of the big reasons why it was so crazy, at the front of the ships, there was either 0 cannons or only a few cannons. Along the sides of these ships, there were up to 50 or 60. So going head on towards the Spanish and French fleets that were going by you in a perpendicular fashion, they had full firepower onto the leading British ships that were coming at them. And the British, meanwhile, could not fire back. So if you think maybe 5 French naval ships, each having 50 cannons pointing in your direction off their side, 5 times 50 is 250 cannons pointed straight at the HMS Victory. It has basically no firepower going forward. To survive that barrage is insane. But if you can make it through the line without getting sunk or completely destroyed, or having your ammunition and gunpowder stockade hit and the whole boat just blowing up, if you can make it through like Nelson did, then you've cut the French and the Spanish armada into 3 separate groups, and then you can go in and pick them off. So that's why Admiral Nelson was such a legend. That's why there's a statue to that guy in Trafalgar Square in downtown London. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, nice. Dang. I'm off by like 4 inches. Holy cow. Not bad. It's off by about an inch and a half. So this is shorter, that's longer. So 114 3/4. 114 3/4. There we go, baby. I just realized something. This is something that people have pointed out, a mistake that I've made on all 3 of our other first buildings, which is when you're putting wood down on top of concrete, you really should have a layer of something between the concrete and the wood. So for example, I've seen Sean James use birch bark, which we definitely have. We've got the big birch at the corner where we're going to be building the main house. So I could go snag 4 pieces of birch bark. So this is the nicest piece that I was managed to get. I was cutting with my little, you know, Leatherman multi-tool thing, and it's just, I don't know if it's because that tree is kind of like half dead or what, but it's just not coming off very nicely. I think the best thing is to get like just a piece of tar shingle. That's what I've seen on the interwebs. So we're going to move on to the next step. I think we're going to have to do like a rocket trip in tonight or something, because we have to be careful, because once it gets too heavy, it's going to be a son of a gun trying to get those shingles in there. So I think, you know, the sun sets at like 6:30. I think we'll get as much as we can done before the sun goes down, and then go into town and get some shingles, because we got to do it now. Otherwise the structure is going to be too heavy. Hey, silver lining, this stuff makes the best kindling fire starter. So it won't go to waste. Wow, this is the heaviest one yet. It's not even the longest. That's how much of a difference the water weight makes. Clovis, pretty good. Hey, what are you doing now? Oh, you got your bone. You're chewing on the bone. Oh, hello, hello. Yeah, so it's a bit crazy, you know, to do the 3-hour round trip just to get a couple shingles. But you know, it's one of those things where it's the right thing to do. It could extend the life of the wood at the bottom of the foundation by, who knows, like 5 years, 10 years, you never know. So like a 3-hour round trip, I think, is worth it for the amount of longevity you get in the long term. And plus, I was checking out the Home Hardware, Rona, Home Depot websites. It seems that tar shingles are always sold in packs of like 30 or 60. We're going to be building a lot more foundations here on Wild Homestead over the coming years, so we might as well have like a 30 or a 40 pack.
Some of the same people that have mentioned that to me, and I think the British government, I don't know, but my sense is they maybe took a decision not to go too public on that.
He brought his bone over, then he brought it back there. He's trying to bury it. Dude, what are you doing, man? Crazy, man. Oh no. What the heck? I shattered part of it. Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yo! What is true happiness other than a Riverside sauna? It's unexpectedly finding a cold brew coffee chilled by the morning frost in your backpack that you did not know that you had. Is the water tasty, Clovis? Tasty water? Bruh. Bruh. Okay, ladies and gents, it's starting to come together. So the floor joists, we went with 2x6 cedar, Western red cedar. And this stuff is known, I believe, as naughty cedar. As you can see, it's got knots in it, like, you know, from branches and whatnot. So this cedar is okay to use for down here. I figure you'll see what we do for our drainage system. We need this to be rot resistant. Like these hemlock timbers that are near the ground, these are also near the ground, but these are also going to have a lot of heat and moisture frequently going over them. So it's important to have something that is rot resistant. We're going to also be using cedar for other parts, especially the interior of the sauna. And the most critical part is getting something called clear cedar for any part of the sauna interior that your hands and feet or body will commonly touch. So you'll see when we're doing the floorboards, for example, at least on the front half of the floor, I'm going to have to get this clear cedar. And clear cedar is essentially cedar planks that are from the heartwood or the core of the tree that do not have any knots on them. Because you see, the problem with a knot like this is when it gets super, super hot, any sap that is left over in this knot is going to bleed out, and that sap is going to be scorching hot. Cedar is probably the most common wood used for sauna construction because it's very rot resistant, and obviously sauna is extremely hot, extremely moist. These are skis on the bottom, and I'm gonna be able to put big, I think chunky like tow hooks in the top on all four sides so that we can tow it from either side. Because I think mobility, after seeing so many, you know, people comment, I think the key for down here, this whole area is really a flood zone. We had historic snow last year, 23 feet, and basically this spot right here was basically just barely dry. So I really think that this spot is not going to be at high risk. You know, with a historic snowfall, it basically didn't get wet, but like even right here, it was flooded under a couple of inches. So I think it's a pretty safe spot. But you know, if the bank does start to further collapse here, we can always just use an electric winch or the ATV and just tow it back. Who knows, maybe in 5 years' time, tow it back a couple of meters, and that could keep it completely safe. Or we might need to tow it down that way, or, you know, up to where the concrete pillars are over there. But I think making it a mobile sauna, I think is definitely the right choice rather than doing some super permanent foundation. This is going to be much more flexible for down here. And safer over the long run, doing it in this mobile manner. And then also putting it on the 6x6 skis, there's a lot more, it brings it up off the ground further as well. Bonjour, madame and monsieur. So Clovis and I are back from the local sawmill. We got stocked up to do the next steps on the sauna and learn something very interesting that actually goes against the advice found in my Finnish sauna building book. So in the Finnish sauna building book, it says in the interior layers on your sauna, because it's so hot and so humid, you have to be very careful with any knots, right? Places where there were branches growing out of the tree, because if there's any resin in there, it can get super heated. And if your skin touches it, you can get burned like really badly. So it said, especially with like spruce and pine and fir, those have a lot of, resin in the knots. But even with cedar, you have to be careful. So it said it's best to use clear. It said the ideal, material for saunas is always going to be cedar, like Western red cedar from North America. So I was going into the sawmill just expecting to get clear cedar, to do our small floor. It's just 6 by 6 feet. And we get into the sawmill and the guy's like, okay, you want clear cedar for a 1 by 6 that's 8 feet long, $80. That means to do our little 6 by 6 foot floor, it would have been over $1,000. And my jaw just like, what? A 6 by 6 foot floor is gonna be more than like $1,000 plus tax Canadian, that's like $800 US. And he's like, the guy saw my jaw like drop and he's like, he laughed. He's like, well, what are you using it for? I'm like, I'm doing the floor in my sauna. And he said, listen, you don't need to use clear cedar for that. He's like, for your benches, your backrest, handles, yes, but not for the floor. And I said, well, what do you recommend? He's like, use knotty cedar. It's okay for the floor because your feet are just going to be briefly touching it. He said cedar has less resin in the knots than pine and spruce, so you have to be less worried about it. And he said, and he's like, you can go through the pile and choose like less knotty stuff with as few knots as possible. So he literally went to the pile with me and we picked out a lot of good pieces. Like, look at this piece here. I don't know if you can see this. There's only like 2 knots. There's 1 knot there. There's 1 knot down here. The rest of it is clear. Like, this is almost a fully clear board. And this board was only $16 instead of $80 if you were buying completely clear cedar, right? Which is just all this kind of stuff. So, for your bench, for your backrest, that stuff, you do need a clear thing. You can use other woods, like apparently poplar. Do you guys see these white trees over here? These are poplars. They can be hard to mill, because as the bigger they get, the more they tend to rot in the core of the tree. Generally, they're not really favored for milling. A lot of people don't really like them, but they're good because apparently they don't really heat up in the hot environments and they don't hold moisture very much. So they're a good thing to actually make benches out of. So maybe we'll make our benches out of poplar just from the property. But when this guy was telling me this, I'm like, wait a minute. The best-selling like Finnish sauna book on Amazon said use clear cedar for your floor. So I'm like, is this guy just misinformed? But I checked ChatGPT and Google Gemini, and they both basically came back with the same thing, which was, yes, using clear cedar is the ideal material for a sauna floor. However, unlike your benches or your backrests, you can get away with using well-selected knotty cedar on your floors. You should be fine. So that was interesting because that kind of disagreed with my Finnish sauna building book. Next week, we're getting into the first week of November. So it's really going to be crunch time. We basically have a month before the snows of December start to arrive. But I really want to get up this roof and the walls on the sauna to make it ready. Because again, remember, our sauna tent is a 3-season tent. It's going to get destroyed whenever it has snow on top. The thing collapses. So I think next week is going to be very exciting. The sauna is really going to, I think, take its final form. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week. May the gods bless you, both the old gods and the new. Strength and honor to you all.
And remember, folks, if your AI chatbot girlfriend is mad at you because you won't follow her advice to buy clear cedar planks for your sauna floor, like Admiral Nelson, hold the line. Send her a cheeky ancient Greek idiom to show the large language model who's the boss. Type in the following 3 words and 9 syllables. Ooga, booga.